I don't know how I got this lucky, I said, watching Emily smile across the table. She laughed softly. You always say that. I mean it, I replied. You chose me when I had nothing. Emily reached for my hand. I chose you because I believed in you. Those words stayed with me. I built my life around them. I grew up with no safety net, no family money, and no shortcuts. Every win I ever had came from working late nights and trusting the wrong people until I learned better. Emily was the exception. She was the one person I never doubted. You don't talk much about your past, she said one night. I don't like it, I answered. You don't have to hide it from me, she said gently. That's how it always was. She made me feel safe enough to open doors I kept locked. When I told her about my private business idea, my unfinished model, and the contacts I was quietly building, she listened like it mattered. This could change everything, she whispered. It's just an idea, I said. It's more than that, she insisted. Promise me you won't give up. I won't, I said. But this stays between us. Always, she replied. I believed her without hesitation. I didn't even password half my files. Emily had access to everything, and I saw that as trust, not risk. One evening, Daniel sat across from me, shaking his head. You're too open, he said. With Emily? I asked. She's my fiancée. That's exactly why you should be careful, he replied. You're paranoid, I said. I'm experienced, Daniel shot back. Love doesn't stop people from choosing themselves. I brushed it off. Emily never gave me a reason to doubt her. She celebrated every small step I took. You're going to be big one day, she told me. And you'll be there? I asked. She smiled. Of course. That smile felt real. A few weeks later, she mentioned a new name over dinner. I met someone interesting today, she said. Who? I asked. Ryan Blake. He's an investor, she replied casually. My stomach tightened. An investor in what? In people, she said, laughing. Relax. It was just a conversation. Daniel noticed the change in my face later. You don't like that guy, he said. I don't know him, I replied. That's the problem, he said quietly. Emily started asking more questions after that. How do you protect your idea legally? She asked one night. I haven't yet, I said. Why not? I'm waiting for the right time. And your contacts? She pressed. What about them? Do they trust you? Yes, I said slowly. Why are you asking? She shrugged. I just want to understand everything you're building. Her voice was soft, but something in me shifted. You trust me, right? She asked. Of course, I said, even as my chest tightened. She smiled again, but this time it didn't reach her eyes. I noticed it. I just didn't want to believe it mattered. Emily didn't look at me when she spoke. We need to talk. My chest tightened. That's never good. She folded her arms. I've been thinking for a long time. About what? I asked. About us, she said flatly. I laughed once. You're scaring me. She finally met my eyes. I need more. More what? More life. More ambition. More security, she said. I'm building something, I replied. You know that. It's not enough, she said quickly. I stood up. Since when? Since I realized love doesn't pay bills, she answered. That's not fair, I said. Neither is waiting, she shot back. I reached for her hand. She pulled away. You're ending this, I asked. Yes, she said. I'm done. Just like that. No tears, no shaking voice. What about our plans? I asked. I changed, she replied. And me? You stayed the same. The door closed behind her before I could say another word. I stood there staring at the empty space she left behind, telling myself it was shock, not fear. Hours later, I opened my laptop. My folders were gone. The files I worked on for years were missing. I refreshed the screen again and again. No, I whispered. I checked backups. Empty. Cloud access denied. My hands started shaking. She wouldn't, I said aloud. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Nothing. My phone buzzed. Daniel's name lit up the screen. She left you, didn't she? He asked. How did you know? I replied. Because she just launched a company, he said. With your idea. My heart dropped. That's impossible. She had access, Daniel said. No, I snapped. She wouldn't steal from me. Listen to yourself, he replied. I opened my email. Investor announcements filled my inbox. Her name was everywhere. My work was suddenly public, polished, and claimed. She didn't just leave, Daniel said quietly. She took everything. I sank into the chair. I trusted her. That's how it works, he said. I heard footsteps outside my apartment. I froze. Emily's voice drifted through the hallway. Ryan, it's done, she said. My blood turned cold. Yes, he believes I walked away, she continued. I held my breath. The files were easy, she said. He never protected them. I closed my eyes as her laughter echoed. I'll handle him, she added. The call ended. Silence followed. Daniel spoke again. You still there? She planned it, I whispered. Yes, he said. I wasn't abandoned, I said slowly. No, Daniel replied. I was betrayed, I finished. The screen showed her name in bold letters. Emily Carter, founder and CEO. I stared at it and whispered, that was mine. Daniel stood behind me. Turn it off. I can't, I said. She's talking about my idea like she gave birth to it. Emily smiled on the interview. I built this from nothing, she said. I laughed, but no sound came out. She memorized my words. Daniel clenched his jaw. Everyone believes her. I watched investors nod, impressed. One of them used to return my calls. I dialed his number. It's not a good time, he said quickly. I just want to explain, I replied. Emily already did, he answered, then hung up. I tried another contact. Sorry, she said. We're moving in a different direction. With my work, I muttered. Silence followed every call. My name meant nothing now. Say something, Daniel urged. What do you want me to say? I snapped. That my fiancée stole my life? She did, he replied. I rubbed my face. If I speak, I sound bitter. If you stay quiet, you disappear, he said. I already have, I whispered. I sat across from Sarah Collins later that day. She listened without interrupting. Do you have proof? She asked calmly. I trusted her, I said. That was my mistake. She nodded. Trust isn't illegal. Theft is. Can you help me? I asked. She paused. Legally, maybe. Publicly, it will be brutal. I don't care about brutal, I said. You will, she replied softly. She has momentum. You have pain. I left her office feeling smaller. Mark Evans didn't even invite me in. I can't get involved, he said from the doorway. You taught me everything, I replied. And you didn't protect it, he said. So you're choosing her? I asked. I'm choosing survival, he answered. That hurt more than Emily's betrayal. That night I watched another interview. You look confident, the host said to her. I believe in my vision, Emily replied. My hands shook. That's my vision. Daniel sat beside me. Say the word. What word? I asked. Revenge, he said. I imagined it, exposing her, destroying her reputation, watching her beg. Then I imagined losing completely. I can't, I said. Why? Daniel asked. Because if I fight now, I lose again, I replied. I looked at my reflection in the dark screen. I didn't recognize myself. Who am I without this? I asked quietly. Daniel didn't answer. I packed a bag that night. Where are you going? He asked. Somewhere she can't see me fail, I said. That's running, he replied. No, I said. It's surviving. I turned off my phone. I closed my laptop. I whispered one last thing to the empty room. I won't beg. Then I walked away. I locked the apartment door for the last time, dragging the small suitcase behind me. Where are you going? Daniel asked, standing on the sidewalk. Somewhere I can think, I said. Running won't help, he said. I'm not running, I replied. I'm surviving. I sold what little I had. My car, my gadgets, even the furniture. Everything that reminded me of her disappeared. Cash or card? The buyer asked for my laptop. Cash, I said. He handed me the money, no questions asked. I left the city that night, blending into the crowd, feeling like a ghost. Weeks later, I sat in a small office across from Lucas Reed. You're looking for a fresh start, he said calmly. I guess, I muttered. I don't care about your past, he said. I care about what you can do. What if I fail? I asked. You won't, he said. Not if you listen. I hesitated. I don't know the first thing about rebuilding after everything. Lucas leaned back. Start small, one step at a time. I nodded slowly. And if I get angry? Then channel it, he said. Anger is energy. Don't waste it on her. I don't know how, I admitted. You'll learn, he said. Discipline, patience, control. That's how you survive. I started working under him. Early mornings, late nights, no excuses. You're pushing yourself too hard, he said one evening. I don't care, I replied. You should, he said softly. Focus, not revenge. Focus feels impossible, I muttered. Then make it a habit, he said. Your anger will lose its edge if you let it guide you blindly. I followed his advice quietly, learning to organize, plan, and think 2 steps ahead. I kept to myself, avoided distractions, and let my mind clear. Do you remember your old life? He asked one morning. All the time, I said. Good, he said. Let that memory fuel you, not break you. I keep imagining her, I admitted, laughing, smiling, taking everything I built. Then let it be your shadow, Lucas said, not your master. I started to understand. My reactions became calculated. My decisions were deliberate. I no longer snapped at small annoyances. I thought, planned, executed. Patience is more powerful than rage, he said one afternoon. You'll see. I hope so, I murmured. I learned to rebuild quietly. I learned to make my moves without showing them. My anger still burned, but it was controlled now, silent and dangerous. Lucas watched me one evening as I filed reports. You've changed, he said. I had to, I replied. One question, he said, leaning against the doorway. If you go back, do you want justice or destruction? I didn't answer, but deep down I already knew the truth. I wasn't going back to beg. I wasn't going back to fight blindly. I was going back to take what was mine on my terms, and I would wait for the perfect moment. I didn't think about Emily for a long time. Not really. Not the way I used to. Your focus is impressive, Olivia Hayes said as she slid the contract across the table. Thank you, I replied. I've had a lot of practice. Practice? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Surviving, I said simply. Olivia nodded slowly. That explains your calm. Years of rebuilding had changed me. My anger was quieter now, sharper, more precise. I didn't react blindly. I analyzed, I planned, I executed. You've improved your pitch, Olivia said. I can help you refine it legally and ethically. I don't need ethics to win, I said, watching her carefully. You do if you want longevity, she replied. Otherwise, you burn out fast. I studied her for a moment. Sharp, smart, careful. Someone who could teach me patience without patience feeling like a lesson. All right, I said finally, show me how it's done. We spent months restructuring my plans, my contacts, my strategies. Your ideas are solid, Olivia said one evening. The execution was the problem before. I had no support, I admitted. Now you do, she said. I nodded, letting her words sink in. I stopped talking about Emily entirely. She didn't belong to this version of me. But I still remembered her every time a thought flickered. How she smiled, how she took everything I built, how she thought she could destroy me. I started monitoring her success quietly. Public news, industry blogs, interviews. She was thriving, but not flawlessly. She's built an empire, Olivia said one morning. I know, I said, but it's fragile. Fragile? She asked. Yes, I said calmly. Cracks in management, quiet scandals, legal shortcuts. She's one misstep from chaos. Olivia looked impressed. You've changed. You see more than you used to. I had to, I replied. No distractions, no unnecessary risks. Everything calculated. I spent nights studying her company reports, analyzing her investors' behavior, and noting potential weaknesses. She's careful, I admitted, but not careful enough. That's your advantage, Olivia said. I smiled coldly. Exactly. I caught myself imagining the day I would return, not as the desperate man she abandoned, not as someone begging for recognition. I need to know when to act, I told Olivia. Patience, she said. You've learned it. I have, I said. I've learned more than patience. I've learned control. Control is power, she said. I paused, thinking. Control, patience, discipline. These were weapons she could never imagine I would wield against her. I'm ready, I said quietly. Ready for what? Olivia asked, curious. To return, I said. Not as her victim, not as the man she broke, but as her competition. Olivia leaned back, smiling faintly. Then you finally arrived. I stared at my reflection in the glass, seeing someone unrecognizable, calm, calculated, confident, someone Emily wouldn't even recognize. I won't fail, I whispered. And for the first time in years, I meant it. The city hadn't changed, but I had. Are you sure about this? Lucas asked as we stood outside the event hall. I don't need sure, I said. I need quiet. Inside, the room buzzed with investors and entrepreneurs. I moved like a shadow unnoticed. Emily Carter will be speaking soon, Lucas whispered. I nodded, watching her from across the room. She looked flawless, confident, in control. For a moment, I almost doubted myself. Almost? Lucas asked. I shook my head. Focus. Emily started her speech. Words I once shared were hers now, but she didn't see me in the crowd. Not yet. After the applause, she stepped down, scanning the room. Our eyes met briefly. She froze, blinked, and looked away. Who's that? Someone asked nearby. Not sure, another replied. I stayed calm, letting her curiosity simmer. Later, I met Nathan Brooks. You're new, he said, shaking my hand. Just attending, I said with a smile. You're not from this company, right? He asked. No, I said, but I know people who are. He laughed, a little too easily. Careful who you trust in this city. Trust is earned, I said. Nathan nodded, unaware how precise that answer was. I started making subtle moves, buying shares quietly, talking to minor investors, planting seeds of doubt about her management. Nothing direct, nothing traceable. She's confident, Lucas said, too confident. Confidence can be dangerous, I replied, especially when blind to cracks. Emily began noticing small shifts, a hesitant investor, A partner questioning a deal? I watched her panic quietly, barely masked behind a smile. Everything okay? She asked one of her associates. Yes, just a few questions, he said nervously. I stayed in the shadows invisible, but the room felt different. My presence, though unseen, was altering everything. During a break, Emily passed near me. She stopped, eyes widening slightly. Excuse me, she said softly. Do I know you? I smiled faintly. You might. She glanced around, suddenly tense, scanning the crowd as if realizing she wasn't in control anymore. Who are you? Nathan asked, stepping in. Someone you underestimated, I said quietly. Emily's color shifted. I could see the calculations in her eyes, the fear she hadn't felt in years. Later, she cornered me privately in a quiet hallway. Why are you here? She asked, voice low but urgent. I smiled, letting the silence speak. You don't answer? She pressed. I prefer to let actions speak, I said softly. Her hands trembled slightly. You can't do this. I already am, I replied. The tension was thick, suffocating. I could see every thought racing behind her eyes, her confidence crumbling piece by piece. Nathan's eyes darted between us. What's happening? Nothing you need to worry about, I said, calm. Emily's lips parted, searching for a response, but I said nothing more. As I walked away, the room seemed smaller, her authority weaker. Lucas followed silently. She's already panicking. I know, I said, and she doesn't even realize it yet. I felt the shift in power. It wasn't public, not yet, but it was inevitable. She won't know what hit her, Lucas said. No, I whispered. Not until it's too late. I lingered a moment, watching her try to regain composure. Every confident step she took was slightly off. I smiled faintly to myself. This was only the beginning, and she had no idea I was back. I watched the news feed scroll across my screen, Emily's face smiling confidently, but the headlines told a different story. Investors pulling out, Lucas said behind me. Let them, I replied calmly. This isn't my doing, not directly. She'll know eventually, he said. She'll know, I agreed, staring at the cracks forming in her empire. Later, Emily called me, voice trembling. You're behind this, she accused. I'm not, I said evenly. But the truth has a way of surfacing. You think you can destroy me? She spat. I don't have to, I said softly. Facts are enough. Her laughter broke, sharp and strained. You think this is fair? I think it's inevitable, I replied. Her voice shook. Stop it, just stop it. Emily, calm down, I said. You did this to yourself. You, she screamed. You ruined everything. I didn't ruin it, I said. You did. You lied. You cheated. You stole. There was silence on the line, heavy and suffocating. I thought you'd disappear, she said, finally whispering. You assumed wrong, I said. Her voice cracked. I took your work. I thought you'd never come back. I thought I was safe. You were never safe, I said. Not from me, not from truth. I didn't know, she started, tears audible. You did, I interrupted gently. You knew exactly what you were doing. I thought I was smart, she admitted. I thought you'd beg. I thought you'd fail. I didn't know you'd survive. Like this. You survived because I had to, I said. I had no choice but to rebuild. Her sobs were quiet now, almost defeated. Please stop. I can fix this. I promise. I can't, I said softly. You need to face the consequences. Daniel appeared in my mind, his words echoing from years ago. Remember who you were? Don't let anger blind you. I swallowed hard. The moral dilemma pressed against me. Finish her or walk away? You have a choice, I whispered, mostly to myself. Her company was collapsing, not because of my direct interference, but because the truth couldn't be hidden. Partners were questioning her, employees leaving, legal issues surfacing. Every move I had quietly engineered was visible now, though she didn't see me at work. I admit it, she said finally, voice fragile. I stole from you. I thought you'd vanish, that you'd be gone forever. I thought no one could stop me. Hearing those words hurt worse than I expected. Not because I wanted revenge, but because her arrogance had once broken me. I'm not here to beg, I said. I'm here to make sure the truth has its way. Her silence was long. Then, what do you want from me? I want nothing from you, I said. Only for you to understand that your choices have consequences. You, she began, but stopped. I could feel her panic now, her certainty crumbling. You control the final decision, I whispered. Not me, not anyone else. You chose your path. Her lips trembled. I understand. The line went dead, but the weight of her realization lingered. I leaned back, letting the quiet settle. I wasn't the destroyer, I was the one she couldn't escape. And for the first time in years, I felt the balance of power shift completely into my hands. The headlines flashed across my phone. Emily Carter's empire collapses. Investors abandon company. Daniel stood behind me, shaking his head. It's over. Yes, I said quietly. It's finally over. Later I found her waiting in the empty office, her heels tapping nervously against the floor. You, she whispered, voice cracking. I'm here, I said calmly, her eyes filled with tears. I thought I could control everything. You couldn't, I replied. I loved you, she said, voice barely audible. In my own way. I never meant... You destroyed everything I built, I said softly. You didn't just leave me. You took my life, my trust, my future. I thought you'd disappear, she said. I didn't know you'd fight back. Like this. I fought back, I said, not with rage, not with revenge. I survived. And I built myself from nothing while you were blind to reality. Her hands shook. Please, forgive me. I was selfish. You were, I said simply. You were selfish, reckless, and arrogant. But that's not why I'm here. She looked at me desperate, searching for pity or anger. I'm here to tell you the truth, I said. Everything you took, everything you lied about, it hurt more than you'll ever understand. And the worst part? You thought it was safe to hurt me. You thought I'd beg. You thought I'd vanish. I didn't. I rebuilt. I endured. And now, you realize that the one you broke is stronger than the one you betrayed. I didn't know, she whispered. You did, I said. You knew exactly what you were doing. And now you're facing it. Tears ran down her cheeks. I never wanted this. I loved you. I really did. I know, I said quietly. And that's why it hurts more than revenge ever could. Because I loved you too, and you shattered me. You broke everything that trusted you, including me. She fell to her knees, sobbing openly. I'm sorry. I never thought... I know, I said. And it's enough for you to understand. But it's not enough for us to go back. You can't undo what you did. You can only live with it. She reached for me, trembling. Please, just say something. Anything. I shook my head. There's nothing left to say that could fix this. Her sobs filled the room, echoing off the walls. I stayed silent, letting the weight of truth settle on her. I ruined everything, she whispered. Yes, I said. And now you'll see the consequences of every choice you made." She looked up, searching my face for anger, for cruelty, for vengeance. But I offered none of that, just truth. "You should have trusted me," I said softly. "I know," she cried. I can't believe I stepped back. "You'll live with it. That's the only justice you'll get." Her hands trembled as she buried her face in her arms. I walked toward the door. "Please," she called weakly. I didn't turn around. "I hope you understand what you lost," I whispered. And I walked away, leaving her crying in the ruins of everything she thought she controlled. The power shift was complete. She had no more control. I had no more ties. And for the first time in years, I felt nothing but calm. I sat in my office, watching the city glow through the windows. Quiet, calm. Daniel called earlier. "You look different," he said. "I feel different," I replied. "Not empty anymore." Lucas stopped by. "You're not the same man who left that city years ago." "No," I said, "and that's the point." I thought about Emily, about everything she took, the files, the contacts, the life I'd built. "But I didn't lose," I whispered. "How?" Daniel asked, sitting across from me. "Because I survived," I said. "Because I rebuilt myself, piece by piece, without begging or pleading. That's the real victory." Olivia dropped by with some papers. "You've changed," she said softly. "The focus, the control, it suits you." "I learned to channel anger into purpose," I said, "not destruction." "And it works," she replied, smiling faintly. I thought of the people who stayed with me. Daniel, Lucas, Olivia, the ones who believed when I couldn't. "Thank you," I said quietly, "for believing in me when I couldn't even believe in myself." Lucas nodded. "You had it in you all along. We just helped you see it." I leaned back, closing my eyes. I used to measure success by revenge, by making her pay. Now I see, I measure it by peace, by control over my own life. Daniel smiled. "That's rare." "I used to think power was taking everything from someone who hurt me," I said. "Now I see it's having the strength to rebuild without them. That's real power." I thought of her once more. Emily Carter. She walked away with my secrets, thinking she had won. But I returned with something stronger. Control. Over my mind, my choices, my destiny. No shouting, no public humiliation. No petty revenge, just life reclaimed. I opened my laptop, planning the next project quietly, deliberately. "This feels right," I said to myself. Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Feels like peace." "Exactly," I said. "Not rage, not obsession, just control." I smiled faintly, looking at the city lights. "They thought they broke me," I whispered, "but I broke through myself instead." And in that moment, I realized I hadn't just survived, I had won. Not because she lost, but because I found myself again. And that was enough.